I am glad she surrendered her license because this is what the license protects people from. But what other power dynamics are at play here besides someone just rejecting medicine for religion?
The DSM-5 is a book of demonic association.
The clinic replaced the church as the institution that decides what counts as suffering and who has authority over it. Yes, the DSM has been used to pathologize queerness, to overdiagnose Black folks, and medicalize grief. Criticism of its misuse is valid, but it isn't the target because of its content. It's a target because it's a knowledge system that claimed jurisdiction over people's souls without her tradition's permission. That's a sovereignty dispute over a structural critique.
As soon as you assign them a diagnosis, that gives the demonic continued legal access.
The word legal here describes a fully developed cosmology with its own internal logic. In deliverance theology, demons have rights, contracts, footholds. The idea of spoken word as a binding act is an old theological tradition and now also a secular one, because now we understand diagnostic categories don't just describe human conditions, they create them. The category loops back and changes the person. People reorganize their self-understanding, their relationships, their full history around their diagnosis. She is making that same argument but collapsing professional accountability into spiritual warfare. She is trading institutional authority granted by a state board for charismatic authority, where there's no malpractice and no ethics board, where she becomes the only competent authority figure.
There are no coping skills with dealing with demons. There is prayer, there is fasting, there is deliverance, there is freedom. That's it. That's all.
She listed her own history here: unaliving ideation, rage, dissociation level anxiety. And all of that history got processed through deliverance. And something in her nervous system did shift. In her tradition, that shift has one explanation: the demon left. What that forecloses is any other account of what happened. Relational safety finally being witnessed, the somatic release of ritual and community holding, and now she is a healer whose entire methodology is her own unexamined experience. The danger here isn't that she is lying. The danger here is that she built a practice on a sample size of 1 with 0 accountability, and a theological framework that makes the patient responsible when it stops working. But also, secular is not a neutral default. It is a specific historical construction that decides what counts as legitimate knowledge and what gets dismissed as mere belief. I think of Fanon here, who documented how Western psychiatry was deployed as a colonial instrument. It used diagnosis to manage populations, to contain people who had every rational reason to be in distress. Her instinct that this framework does not work for the liberation of her people is historically correct. She just had nowhere to take that instinct except the tradition that raised her. The church gave her the wound and the healing and is sending her back with a sword. The tragedy here is that the people in the pews are the ones who will be cut. I am Connie Chen, here to help you deconstruct everything. My full Women in Scripture series lives on my Patreon, and my books are open for spring speaking engagements.